scenes of your life. That this life is a series of scenes comprised of levels that each one has to spiritually attain, and they are attainable at any speed or rate that you need to attain them. And it is always up to you. It is up to you to see the patterns of your life, and if you do that and follow them, you will achieve enlightenment or a higher level and go upon your journey. It is a path, a light worker, a way shower, a path shower. It is a process, as we said. All of these things, ascension, 2012, enlightenment. Islam is not a religion, all Muslims will tell you. It's a deen, it's a way of life, it's a process, it's a sunnah, it's a methodology of living. And so, you have to understand, those of you who are trying to achieve this state of enlightenment of your soul, to ascend. I'll give you a simple example. Here's a reference to my brother Sai Baba. Because I'm always telling you that the Prophet's example is the final messenger to all people, and that will be disclosed. But just one example of his life, Sai Baba teaches people, if you sit there and meditate, on try to achieve timelessness. Try to achieve a state beyond time. Try to teleport beyond time. Teleportation for all you sci-fi fans. But what we call Tayyil Ard for all you Sufi brothers and sisters. The idea that the earth can be folded, just like time or anything can be folded. However you conceptualize it, the process is the same. Now Sai Baba will tell you, imagine taking deep breaths. Take a few deep breaths. Let's do this, brothers and sisters. It'll be a little bit funny, but you can feel the vibration because I just took a deep breath. And I can feel it. Bismillah. So you take a deep breath, and Sai Baba will say, now imagine up in the air to your right, there's a sun. And you see that radiant sun, and it's shining radiance. Imagine that sun. It's a full shining sun, radiant. It's hard to do this without laughing so much. And then you imagine the moon, and then you imagine them both, and you see that radiant full moon, and then you merge them both together, and then you bring that energy and you bring it deep into your core, and then you achieve timelessness. One with everything, and you can go beyond time. Now, to my brother Sai Baba, I'm not making fun of any of the brothers who do this. I'm not making fun of the exercise at all. And I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you because honesty is truth. And I've done the exercise myself and sat there. And what you're trying to do is achieve this sense of spirituality. But what I want you to realize something. Here's something very funny that my brother Sai Baba always mentions this, and that we're trying to achieve that state. But I want you to see that this essence is the very example of the Prophet Muhammad from his life. That in this story you have there someone who in their actual life, in this third dimension reality, was at the point of a situation where they were offered everything. They were offered the keys to everything. They were offered the riches, the gold, the women, the position, the status, and the messenger said, if you put the sun in my right hand and the moon in my left. And he stood in the traditional way. You can imagine the three-dimensional Michelangelo position with the hands and the legs, and then forming that perfect sun and the moon, pulling it into the core, and he drew it into himself. And the reason why he did that is it was part of his character. Now, when you people are spiritually trying to achieve that, just imagine for a second what it is for a person who actually lived that their avatar, their character, their archetype personality lived that moment, not just imagined it in a spiritual thinking breath, but lived that moment in reality, and he chose no. He chose to turn it all down. Everything of this dunya, everything of the world, he turned it down for his truth of what the Lord had given him. If you understand that kind of concept, then you understand why my brother Jesus, son of Mary, ascended before him and let it go, for he knew what was going to happen later. He knew about his brother coming after him, and he knew what was his mission at the end. And the prophet at that moment knew the truth. It could not be undone, and nothing from this world can make a person who believes and knows the light and tasted. Anybody who has tasted it, anybody who has felt it, anybody who has known the halawatul iman, the sweetness of faith, as we say in Islam, anybody who's tasted that sweetness ever, you can't get them to change their mind. Never. So let me ask you, brothers and sisters, we are all trying to gain that spirituality, but my prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, lived that moment and stood that truth in this reality at the hardest moment when it was not easy to do. And the repercussions, they were hard. They were not easy. And so when you sit there and when you meditate, and all my brothers and sisters who I say to you with love and peace, who follow the teachings of Sai Baba, take this message to him and say to him, your brother Salim has said to you, Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings be upon you. And I ask you a simple question. When you take that spirit to your core, and when you go into a state of timelessness, when you synchronize yourself and focus in on that breath, and when you focus in and bring that resonance and that light, and when you get to that moment where your body focuses in on that resonance and the frequency is perfect, where the soul is perfectly able to travel and achieve that timeless state, you are at your highest self, doing as the Prophet Muhammad did, peace and blessings be upon him. In reality, when you achieve that vibration, whose vibration are you actually thinking of? Have you not realized yet, oh my brothers and sisters, that what you're thinking of and what you're channeling in and what you're focusing in there is the vibration and the light of the nur of my Prophet, sallallahu ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. أفلا يتدبرون أفلا يتدبرون